on the brand new single. We've been playing it on our show now for a couple of weeks, and it's been getting great feedback, so congratulations.
Right, hell yeah, thank you. That's really sick, actually, like, you know, to think it's, you know, sort of passing around really well, and yeah.
So, mate, tell us a little bit about Hysteria. How did this track come about? Because I understand originally it was supposed to be a hip-hop track.
Yeah, so basically me and Adam, so our drummer, were just, like, playing around with, like, a hip-hop beat, and we were just, like, I'm going to be honest, we were just messing around, and we're like, what if we had a breakdown in this? So we did, and we're like, all right, well, let's get a feature on it. So we did. And it was just a straight hip-hop track with, like, a breakdown, and we're like, let's make this just into an actual heavy track then, and then we did. So it was quite a few months in the making of, like, just passing around demos, and, like, there's all sorts of different versions as well. But yeah, this one was, like, a winner to us, and yeah, really, like, we're really keen on, you know, how it's played out as well, and yeah.
So was it fairly easy to bring the heavier side into the track as well, or was that something that took a bit of work from you guys?
Not really, actually. It was actually quite easy, and the whole, like, because of the writing process of it being such, like, a gloomy sort of sounding track, we didn't really have any problems, like, sort of implementing all the heavy elements to it. Because, like, I come from a background of writing, like, a lot of, like, emo rap, a lot of, you know, dark hip-hop sort of stuff, so it's sort of, like, something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So what inspired you to write the track in the first place? Like, I understand that it was about that mental strain that you get sometimes, so what kind of triggered you to work on this track?
Just sort of, like, personal issues at the time, like, we wrote this. Like, when it came to lyrics and all that, it was more just like, oh, I'm fed up with people, you know? It was more, I was sort of like, you know, I had a lot on my plate at the time, from working to studying to all that, to where, like, my social life started to just sort of crumble a bit.
Yeah.
And that's when I sort of had a lot of falling outs with people, and yeah, it was that time where I realized, all right, call out time.
Yep.
I don't usually do call outs, but I just felt like that song, especially, as well as, like, other songs of Liars, needed that sort of, like, energy to them. Like, it's more just to, you know, flip it on, bit of rage. Yeah.
Now, you said that you wanted to work with another artist on this album. How did you go about finding the perfect artist to work with, and what led to you working with the artist that you ended up working with?
So, I've had my eyes on this artist, Center Christ, for a while. He's from Brisbane. And I've just seen, like, a couple shows before where I've just been really engaged with it. The overall genre of Center Christ is really just trap metal.
Yeah.
But the way it's done is actually, like, really sick. Like, you know, heaps of, like, deathcore elements in it. And I just sort of, like, wanted to work with Center Christ either way. So, like, I was in contact with him for a while, but, like, that time we were writing Hysteria, I finally just said, screw it, let's hit him up. So we did, and we got a good feature, so, yeah.
You certainly did, and there's so many different elements to your music. Of course, we noticed that with the first single that you had as well, but there's so many different genres that you guys seem to be able to blend into your music. What kind of music did you grow up listening to?
So, I actually just grew up listening to, like, classic rock, punk, all that sort of stuff. But in my teen years, I guess, I started getting into, like, a lot of, like, modern hip-hop, a lot of, like, trap metal or, you know, dark trap, like, Suicide Boys, Ghost Domain, Lil Peep, like all that sort of stuff. I fell in love with it, but I still loved my metalcore. I loved, all that. So, like, my idea with, like, a lot of the light songs was to implement, like, some of those, like, styles that inspired me.
Yeah.
But not in a way where it was that, like, upfront, to where it's like, okay, we're a metalcore band, but, like, we've got these, like, cool little Easter eggs of, like, styles in there. Like, I don't want to leak too much, but, like, in future release plans, like, we've got a couple tracks that are a bit, like, softer, a bit out there. We've got some tracks that are, like, implementing, like, a new genre, hyperpop.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to see, like, being put into, like, metalcore. Like, I think because of both, like, sort of styles being really energetic and, like, full of momentum, like, putting those together, like, it was really interesting. And yeah, I'm really excited to just try different things out as we go.
Now, you kind of touched on my next question there. With Decline doing so well and now Hysteria doing so well, what are the plans for the band in the future now? Are you guys going to look at doing an EP or an album, or are you just hoping to get out there and do some shows now everything's opened back up?
Bit of everything, really. So we are planning more singles and possibly an EP. But we're just sort of like putting one track out after the other, just getting everyone to really process it. In terms of shows, we are sort of planning to play live soon. Built a setup. We're really happy with it. Just keen to get out there, really, like, especially being a new band and all that. Yeah.
How difficult has it been coming out into the scene with everything being in lockdown? Because, of course, normally you get a new band noticed by going out and playing shows. How have you had to do things differently because of the lockdowns and not being able to travel across borders and stuff?
So I don't want to bring up too much of the past, but basically me and Adam were in a past band, and we were playing shows in and out, like, of lockdown and all that, like, sort of thing. And the band sort of crumbled a bit, and, like, since then we just sort of reflected on, like, okay, here's the things we did right and here's the things we've done wrong. It was just, like, brainstorming different ideas on how to, like, launch a new band. And especially, like, developing it in lockdown, it was more looking at, like, digital marketing, just sort of engaging in a different audience to what you'd find or want to try attract in a live sense. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, mate, we are going to play Hysteria on our show again right now. So what would you like to say to everybody out there before they take another listen to this amazing track?
Hi, Mum. I'm on radio. Nah. But no, in all honesty, like, I just hope everyone enjoys it. Like, chuck it on if you're feeling pissed at the end of the day. Just rage. Like, that's all I have to say.